So I'd sit and eat because I comfort ate because I had that relationship with food. You know, I kind of unstable emotions, right? As chocolate tastes good. And I ate a lot, and so I gained quite a lot of weight over that summer. And I went back to school, and I got bullied really bad, and it was like no break. So yeah, and then I think my kind of like my body image issues kind of spiraled, all this stuff kind of spiraled, and that's really when my eating disorder really set in, and that was wonderful. It was a ride, absolute fucking roller coaster. Don't do it. Just save yourself. Actually, yeah. So I can't pinpoint. This is what caused that.
It's just a lot of factors.
A lot of factors, which
and
is
obviously, and then obviously it spiraled into your eating disorder, and then you did lose a lot of weight.
Yeah, a lot of weight.
And ended up in a psych ward.
I did, not originally. I was actually outpatient at first. I kind of got sent home from school because I went to boarding school at the time, and they weigh you at the beginning of every term, and I'd lost a lot of weight over like 2 months, and they were like, so I've left kind of slightly chunky and come back looking so thin that I would break. You know, we actually had a fire alarm, and I stood outside in the shower. You know how you never want to get caught in a fire alarm having shampoo in your hair?
Oh, wow.
Me, yeah. So I hadn't even washed my hair out. You know, I'm out, and I just remember this girl coming up and just hugging me from behind because this other chick had just been like, why does her back look like that? Because my spine was just fucking right there. And and she just came over, and I remember she was so lovely. She was such an amazing, amazing person. And just remember her coming over and hugging me and just making sure that no one could like see me and pass judgment, which was very sweet of her.
That's amazing.
But,
That's really amazing.
It was really good for her. It's something I've like never forgotten. And yeah, kind of like outpatient for a bit, and then the treatment wasn't working. I kind of tried to reintegrate back into school, it didn't work, so kind of ended up stopping eating, stopping drinking, and then they're like, you have to go. So I went, and I was at first there for 1.5 years, and then they were like, I don't know what the fuck to do, because I was only really getting worse. Kind of stabilised, and they were like, let's try her in the community again, 6 months out. And that's when I got really, really bad, because the problem with psych wards are, they're not to make you really better, they're to save your life. And that's a common misconception, because like with psych wards, you're around 20 other people that have the same thing that you do. It's a little variation, so you pick up habits, you know, and you're learning things, and you won't have necessarily thought that you'd be doing certain things, then suddenly someone does X in the dining room or is doing Y in their room to exercise or blah, 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 blah. And this entire new world just opens up. And yeah, it was rough. It's really rough. Also, when you're trying to look after yourself and get better, and there are other people that are just resisting treatment. And I was unfortunately one of those people that just didn't want anything to do with it. And so even if you have those sparks of motivation, you're around people that just fucking...
Yeah.
So it's difficult. So yeah, I was out for 6 months again, and then ended up going into an IC, a PQ, because I was sectioned, and got really, really, really unwell again, and kind of had to get into hospital, go off to, actually, funnily enough, it was in the same hospital. They wanted me going back to Huntercombe again. I was like, are you fucking serious? Because they had 2 outpatient wards. Not outpatient, sorry, 2 open wards, even though the doors were locked. And then 2 PQs, which are like higher tier security, so kind of bars on your windows and lock the doors.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking sweet. So, yeah, and I was there for about a year. So, but I'd actually got sent back to the first ward the second time, and I was only there for like 4 days, and they transferred me to the PQ because I was so unwell I couldn't be contained in that ward, and I required special, like, people were with me 24/7 for a year straight, which was like,
that sounds very tough.
Yeah, no, you know what, it wasn't ideal. And the thing is, like, it's you, it's your head. You know, when people have a broken leg, it's kind of like, all right, that's shit, it's my body. There's the common misconception about eating disorders is it's not physicality. You know, it's not just anorexia. It's so much more. It's your mental state. There's not a body type for an eating disorder, right? And it's all in your mind, and you can't escape your mind. It's fucked. And I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I think that's why it's so fucking important for everybody, regardless of gender, regardless of age, regardless of anything. Just, you know, stop putting divides in and just start working together, because people deserve support, people deserve help, people deserve to feel safe in their own body, right?
Yeah.
You can't run away from your mind, and that's why mental health is so fucking important. And it's funny because, like, culturally, Britain has some very toxic like views, right?
Yeah.
And we learn from our parents. We learn from, it's like nature nurture, right? And nurture is so important. So you learn from like all these people, and they think they're telling you, you know, good stuff, but actually it's not. And it's not their fault. It's just all they've ever learned. It's all they've ever known. And that's why it's so important to really kind of like think about what you're up to, think about your views, think about your beliefs, going like, why do I feel like that? You know, why do I feel the need to do this? Why do I feel the need to do that? Is this healthy? Does this help me? Does this help people around me? You know, and like, I think that is one thing that we kind of are coming into now as a society, is actually starting to challenge and question more and going like, no, 2000 start culture was fucked.
Yes.
It was so bad. And then, I mean, you kind of try and step away from it, but people are still trying to use bodies as, you know, a fashion statement, which is fucking ridiculous.